Skull and Bones, the first ever quadruple A game. The first of its kind. Nah, I'm just kidding. This is one of those games that was everywhere and it didn't matter if it was positive or negative. If it was being talked about, it was almost like Ubisoft's mentality was there's no such thing as bad press as long as it's being talked about. So to be totally honest, I saw this game everywhere and I saw a lot of negativity towards it for a while. But personally, I thought the game was interesting. I like the concept of commanding your own boat and being a pirate. I enjoy the idea that I can do whatever I want whenever I want. So I actually pre-ordered the game and purchased the game when it first came out earlier this year. Now, I never even thought to touch the game. I had way too much stuff on my plate already between different games, work, and my family. But last week I went into GameStop to pick up a copy of Astrobot finally, and I saw Skull and Bones on the shelf. And it was on sale for almost half price, which made me remember that I paid full price and probably way extra because I have the Steelbook version. And honestly, I don't remember how much I paid because it was months ago and I honestly forgot I even had the game. Skull and Bones has been on my list of wanting to play for a while, but there was nothing really pushing me towards playing it. But when I saw that damn near half off game, I realized I wanted to play it and remind myself to stop buying games brand new. That I needed to learn to just wait for sales that will inevitably happen. However, even with all that, I wanted to form my own opinion on the game, to see if it was really worth the money, which was also probably a way for me to make myself feel better about spending too much on it. But anyways, I started playing Skull and Bone last week, and I had my eyes set on getting the Platinum Trophy. So I want to talk about the Platinum itself, and the difficulty of getting it, and if I think the game's worth it. Or at least worth the price. So let's talk about Skull and Bones. To start off, there's going to be 51 different trophies for you to collect to achieve the Platinum. While I do want to clarify now, I really thought the Platinum for this game would be a lot tougher and harder to achieve, but it managed to somehow feel extremely natural. A majority of the game's trophies can just happen while playing the game. There was really only one trophy that I felt like was forced, and honestly it still wasn't that bad, it was just time consuming. At the beginning of the journey, you'll be introduced with some long cutscenes, and after this, you'll be able to take control of your first ship. However, this acts more like a tutorial on how to play the game and how to move your ship. This is completely unskippable. The tutorial is fairly simple. You're in control of a pretty overpowered ship where you'll be fighting off the British fleet until you're defeated and your ship sinks. This is when you will somehow manage to make your escape and you'll manage to make it to St. Anne. And this will unlock your first trophy, Mainland Pirate. Shortly after I was finally able to take control of my character, I decided to say hello to everyone in the world. And no one responded. And that's fine, I didn't do it to talk to anyone, I got the Hello World trophy. After that, I decided to continue with the main story where I met John Skurlock, and got the Just Business trophy. But after dealing with Skurlock, I finally was allowed to explore the world, well, sort of. I had no money, even though the devs gave me like $200,000 to start off with. I couldn't afford a boat, so I was given a loaner by Skurlock until I could get my own. But I decided to use his while I got accustomed to the game. This is when I was introduced to the crew boarding mechanic. I did manage to get the Go Overboard trophy, but this is when I realized what the boarding really looked like, and it was just a cutscene. I won't lie, I really thought I was going to be able to board someone else's ship and take out the enemies, or even watch my pirates take on the enemies. Instead, you just automatically win. I was slightly disappointed with this, but I mean, at least the establishment of disappointment was early and I didn't get much further in. I returned to St. Anne and built my own ship, and that's where I got the Ship Captain trophy. After finally having my own, I decided to continue exploring the Red Isles and continue with the main story. During this, while uncovering the map, I found the Clan of Pharaoh's capital settlement, and I unlocked the Home of Pharaoh trophy. Somewhere along the line of finishing missions, I also found some armor and I put that on my ship and got the Turtle Up trophy. And after a while, I got more interested in just sailing around and going to explore the world, so I decided to head east. During the trek through the open seas, I would collect the Silencer, Smuggler's Hideout, and I Can See My House From Here trophies. I later arrived at another port, similar to St. Anne, but was run by Admiral Rama. Here I collected the trophies, the People's Person for talking to 20 different NPCs, and the Banished Admiral for meeting Rama. At this point, I had honestly enjoyed the game so far. I was definitely surprised at how much people didn't like it. Sure, there is a lot of things that this game could do better, or that I wish that they implemented instead, but for what we got, it's kind of fun. Now, before I go any further, if I would have picked this game up for half price, like I saw it, I would say it's definitely worth the $20 to $40 price range. But I paid a lot more, so I was hoping I'd get a lot more out of this game. I was finishing up my second day of playing in the game, and I realized there was a lot more trophies that I should be able to complete before I went to bed. So that's exactly what I did. I focused on the easy ones I could knock out within a couple minutes each. So while exploring all the Red Isle and going for the exploration trophies, I got Home of the Sea People and the Explorer. Going back to St. Anne, I noticed there was about 3 to 4 different trophies I could do here. So I completed the Mime. There also happened to be a full moon, so we got the secret trophy Lunar Effect. I found the musicians to dance to and got the After a Long Day of Sailing, investing more money into my wardrobe and got Rags to Riches. I antagonized some enemies and ran away from them. Why fight when we can negotiate trophy. I discovered cooking and got Cook Pirates. And honestly, I still never cooked again after in this game. The last thing I did was started plundering an area and sunk a few ships and left without looting anything for the Just for Fun trophy. I decided here that I would call it quits for the day. I was now 2 days into the game and had 21 trophies. My first day of playing was only about 2 hours since I actually fell asleep shortly after starting the game because I had just got off of a shift. So, I mean, I could have probably done more, but I was tired, okay? Leave me alone. The next morning I wanted to try to get as far as possible and get as many trophies as I could, because I was actually off this day, and I knew I could get a lot done. So to start off, I wanted to finish exploring all of the Red Isles. While doing this, I managed to take down a few different ships, and I got the When We Raid, It Pours trophy, and the ship that got me that trophy also had some brandy on board, so I sold it and got the Why is the brandy always gone trophy. I also managed to run into a relatively low-level privateer, so I took him out and got the Hitman trophy. I also finally finished exploring all of the Red Isles, which allowed me to get the 2 trophies, Red Isle Explorer and Home of the Campane Royal. After I finished that up, I noticed a few more simpler trophies I wanted to snag. So I went for the Porcupine and Inspirational, and neither of those really posed too much difficulty. Next, I focused on collecting the different fibers, trees, and irons in the 3 different regions. I managed to unlock the Wood Collector, Fiber Collector, and Metal Collector trophies, but while also exploring for those trophies, I also managed to get the Home of the Dominion of Rempa and Home of the Confederation and Coast of Africa Explorer. I decided to hunt down all the game's wildlife with a spear and got the Poacher trophy. This one took me a while to do because I had no idea what animals I was missing. I was also missing a few different zones in the East Indies, so I went back there and got the trophies Home of the Dutch Merchant Company, and along the way I rammed enough enemies and got Derby, which was pretty fun and enjoyable, honestly. I was wrapping the night up, and one of the things I had been trying to do the first few days was complete the trophy Pirates Assemble, which is where you join a group with 2 other players. Every time I opened the game, I was trying to find a group, and I couldn't find anyone until finally someone found me and invited me, and I got the trophy. After a couple days passed, a few work shifts, I was finally able to return to the game. I had 38 trophies. I only needed 13 more. I wanted to finish the game and kind of just be done with it and move on. I had fun with it, but that fun was starting to now dissipate. Most of the trophies now required me to level up my ship as high as possible. So I made a new ship and got the best equipment on it. Now with a level 10 ship, I would make my way to the open seas. I also upgraded the spyglass to level 3 and got the There You Are trophy. After making it to the open sea, I unlocked the Battle Royale trophy and the Open Seas Explorer trophy. And while fighting for my life out there, I got the Not Today trophy. While all of this was going on, I finally reached the Cutthroat tier in the infamy list to get that trophy. And a few hours later, I managed to reach Kingpin and finally got a hold of my first manufacturer to get the First Come First Serve trophy. My time with this game was winding down, and I only had 6 trophies left, which included the Platinum. But 2 of those trophies required me to interact with other players and try to find people to play with. So I did what everyone else does, and I asked in chat and hoped that someone would respond. First, I asked if anyone could help me out with the trading, which wasn't too bad, and I got that trophy pretty easily, and there was some pretty nice people in the world. After that, I realized the shared contracts are going to be a little bit harder, so I was going to skip those and move on to something else. One of the trophies I was avoiding the entire time was collecting 10,000 jute, but I managed to find a guide online that gave a route to take, and that would net between 400 to 500 jute every single cycle. After like an hour or 2, I finally managed to get the Skull and Jute trophy. The one trophy that managed to avoid me during the entire game is Water Party, which involves plundering a location during a storm, which I managed to attempt multiple times during my time with the game, but I couldn't get it. it was like I started plundering during a storm, and then when I finished plundering, the storm was gone. I honestly almost gave up on this one until I finally managed to get it while completing one of the shared contracts. And somehow it unlocked. 2 trophies left until the platinum. One being sail a boatload of miles, because I'm too lazy to add it up to actually see what number it is, and the other is the shared contracts. One of them I'll be able to do naturally by playing the game, and the other one I needed to figure something out. I've tried to invite people to groups, but no one would join. I've tried joining others and turning in contracts, but that didn't work. So I immediately thought, maybe I can just buy a cheap copy of the game and use my wife's PlayStation and just join my own session. I found a copy of the game for 15 bucks on Mercari, and I was gonna buy it, but then I happened to look on the PlayStation Store, because I didn't really want to wait for the delivery. It was gonna take like a whole nother week before I could even finish the game and get the platinum. And man, I wanted to just be done with this game at this point, and not touch it again, ever. That's when I saw the game had a 6-hour free trial, and I jumped into my office and got on my wife's PlayStation and downloaded the game on hers. And I joined my own session and got the It's More Than Fun trophy. And you know what? You can say it's cheating, but I actually tried to talk to people in this game and no one ever responded. So I was desperate. Finally, all I needed to do was a few more meters. I was at like 96% completion with this one by the time I finished every other trophy. So I ended up just going back and forth in the open sea and just letting the game drive the boat, basically. With that, I finally got the platinum trophy and I never had to touch this game again. Well, I finally finished this game, and how was it? And how was the platinum itself? Well, my experience with the game honestly wasn't bad. I personally had a ton of fun with this game. But like I said before earlier in the video, if I had only paid $20 to $40, I would have been extremely happy with this game. But unfortunately, I paid a lot more. But even still, I'm pretty happy with my experience and how it was with the ship combat. Of course, there's stuff I would have loved to see in the game instead, but I'm not here to judge the game and say how it could be better. I'm here to tell you how it is and what we have. Towards my last few trophies, I got into the endgame content and started doing more with being a kingpin, which was honestly super interesting, and if I didn't want to move on to a new game, I probably would have played this for a little bit longer and experienced more of its content. I am also hopeful that they will keep adding in new ships. The platinum itself really wasn't a bad experience. A majority of the trophies can be done naturally while you play. You'll be exploring, collecting, and burning down towns, even fighting off a ton of enemies, so you will get a majority of the trophies as you play. The only one that seems kind of out of your way is collecting the jute, and that's because you have to spend hours picking it up, and most of the time it's most efficient to do it after you got a level 5 sickle. But overall, I enjoyed the game, and I personally would recommend only picking it up if you found it on a sale or super discounted. If you can find it for like 20 to 30 bucks, I think you'll get the best bang for your buck out of it. But anyways, there's my platinum journey with Skull and Bones. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe. If there's any games that you want to see me review or play, just comment it down below. Thanks for watching.